Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about some self-destructive behaviours and how they're linked to survival and safety. Okay, so a couple of things that happened in my life lately, and I thought, wow, there's a bit of a theme that's happening here, things that I observe, so that's usually how I bring things up and talk about them. So this one sits around pushing people away, and we can associate that to sometimes people with antisocial behaviour. We can associate to people not necessarily committing to others in regards to relationships, and that might be an intimate relationship, that might just be a friendship, but it sits around relationships, and then how we try to keep ourselves safe by expressing certain behaviours that then push you away from others. Now, I am not a psychologist, I am a mental health nurse. I'm pretty aware of self, and I'm aware of others, and what I've noticed within myself is what I usually then share with others. So this experience today is related to how I understand the attachment process when I was a child, and how it was related to how I attached to my caregivers, my mother and father. So the interesting thing sits here is that when I was young, I was born in the Philippines, and I was with my parents for about 6 months, and then they went overseas and lived in New Guinea for about another 18 months. So they didn't come back and pick me up until I was maybe 2.5 years old. So the attachment that I formed was actually with my uncles and aunties and my grandparents. So when my parents then came to get me and then take me to New Guinea, my attachment was already created with other people, and then I then had to create an attachment with my parents. Now, the interesting thing that came out of that was that I identified that I have a insecure, ambivalent attachment. Okay, you can Google circle of security to get some ideas of what attachments are. The interesting thing, though, is that because of the ambivalence with my attachment to my caregivers, I've wanted them in my life, but I haven't wanted them in my life. So I've come to and fro. And the way that then manifests within our adult lives is that, and what I've noticed within myself is that when I've had relationships with people, I've found it really hard to put myself 100% into the relationship, because there's a part of me that feels and it senses that if I put all of myself into this relationship, then this person will then leave me, and that's the ambivalence in the attachment. So, with my parents and with the people that I've had significant relationships with, I'll hold back a part of myself because of a safety mechanism, of a survival mechanism, because none of us like the feeling of rejection and abandonment, and this can come up a lot within our relationship. So if I invest all of myself into my relationship, I'm putting all of my trust into this person, I'm making myself very vulnerable, and then I'm open to being hurt and abandoned and rejected, and then I have to then pick myself up again. There's a song by Sam Smith at the moment, and part of it goes, I'm getting good at saying goodbye, and it's a beautiful song, it's absolutely a beautiful song, but it reminds me of this situation where people come into relationships and we ultimately then push people away, so then we feel in control of the abandonment rather than others. So I've noticed this a lot in people's relationship. I noticed it a lot in my relationships in the earlier days, and thankfully for my beautiful wife who has just stuck by me, she has shown me that I can trust and that I can feel safe within a relationship, and that's just been a beautiful progression for me. So if there's any of you out there who might resonate with this, whereas this to and fro, and I want you to be in my life but I can't fully give you all of myself because I'm afraid that you'll then leave me, we can change, and that component can change by being in a secure relationship, seeing what that is and experiencing what that feels like. And then after time, we actually then replace our insecure relationship with this secure relationship. But it helps to be aware of it and to allow it to foster, allow it to sit around you, and allow yourself to experience it as well. So Just a bit of food for thought there. We see a lot of this type of behaviour with addiction and dependence. We see a lot of this behaviour presenting in relationships that that have their ups and their downs all of the time. With jobs as well, you know, this ambivalent type of relationship that we have with ourselves and our caregivers or significant others, it can reflect out into many other parts of our lives. So if that sits with any of you guys, you know, just be aware of it, but allow yourself that it can also change too. But change starts with awareness. So here's some awareness. All right, food for thought. Thanks, guys.